The Toyota RAV4 is without a doubt the best small crossover money can buy. However, the current generation has started showing its age at every possible corner, especially next to its competition, as it was, after all, released almost 7 years ago. Thankfully, Toyota had decided to treat us to an all-new generation of the 2026 RAV4, which will be a drastic improvement over the already colloquially adored current gen. So let's not waste any more time and check out how the all-new 2026 Toyota RAV4 blows away the competition. All-new design language. Many things can be said about the RAV4 as a whole, but one thing remains true for all generations. They were all trendsetters and cutting edge in terms of exterior styling. The upcoming 6th generation will be no different in this regard. In fact, it will amplify this even further. You see, Toyota has recognized the overall lust for a sleek, elegant, and subdued design for vehicles nowadays, which has all but been confirmed by their Toyota Prius and the Toyota Crown Signia. This is why Toyota will implement the same kind of design language for the new RAV4. From the front, you can say goodbye to those big and bulky headlights and say hello to Toyota's now trademark C-shaped headlights, which offer a far more elegant and less in-your-face look. In addition to that, the grille will be made smaller, and it will also be moved downwards and will now sit on the lower part of the bumper to make the front even sleeker. As for the side profiles, the new RAV4 will utilize flush, shaved door handles, like the ones used on Aston Martins and the recently redesigned Toyota CHR, which is not available in the US, unfortunately. This will improve aerodynamics, which is very necessary for the upcoming RAV4 PHEV, which we'll talk about later. This will improve its range as well as slightly decrease overall fuel consumption too. As for the back, the new Toyota RAV4 will utilize a single taillight design, allowing it to fit in better with the new Toyota Prius, the CHR, and Toyota's overall assortment. Now, for those of you that prefer more conservative styling, you'll still have the Toyota Corolla Cross, which, in our opinion, all but took over the current generation's place. All in all, we can't wait to see this new and improved RAV4 in person, as it sounds like true eye candy. But these changes won't just be surface level. Oh no, they'll also be skin deep, as the RAV4 will also get a gorgeous interior. Toyota is really outdoing themselves with the new RAV4, which makes sense as it is expected to be their best-selling model worldwide. This is why they decided to take an extra step when it comes down to the interior of the RAV4, which was always its biggest downfall. Well, not anymore, as the Toyota RAV4 will not only boast a much more stylish interior than any of its predecessors, but also a much higher quality one too. First of all, the RAV4 in its base form will utilize a similar screen as the top-of-the-line models of the current generation Prius LE. The gauge cluster will also be similar, however, it will be positioned into the dashboard and not atop of it, like the Prius. This is because the mid-range models will have a larger 12.3-inch display, which will be fitted flushly with a larger 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. This will make the RAV4's interior very similar to the Toyota Crown and Crown Signia. In addition to this, the rest of the interior will also be filled with higher quality details, such as aluminum door handles and faux leather door trim. Finally, the top-of-the-line models will also have a leatherette dashboard that can be optioned in various colors and will come with leather seats with bespoke stitching. The lower trim pieces, such as door pockets and the center console, will still be made out of scratchy plastic, as this will, after all, still be a relatively affordable vehicle. New powertrains for a new age. The current generation Toyota RAV4 was, apart from the hybrid, mild in terms of engine options. First, the 2.5-liter inline-4 engine was not powerful enough for how large it was, offering only 200-ish HP. This engine will now be improved and will produce 225 HP, allowing it to be a bit more potent compared to the outgoing model. However, the engine will now be an optional extra, and the base model engine will now be a 2.0-liter inline-4 lifted from the Toyota Corolla. However, its 170 HP output will be increased to a little over 180 HP, which means that you'll lose very little power and gain quite a bit of MPG. Also, the RAV4 will now offer a performance-oriented variant, which will utilize a 1.6-liter turbocharged 3-cylinder used on the Corolla GR and will produce around 300 HP. In addition to that, the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid will come with a 2.0-liter engine too, and the powertrain will be lifted straight out of the Prius, with its power output being increased to around 210 HP. This means that you'll have a relatively peppy vehicle. The 2.5-liter engine will be combined with a more powerful plug-in hybrid drivetrain, previously known as the RAV4 Prime, which brings us to the next point of our video. The Prime badge is history. Yes, that's right. Toyota is dropping the Prime badge to improve clarification, as many buyers found it rather confusing, as it wasn't quite straightforward, which is why the RAV4, as well as many other models with it, underperformed. Instead, the Prime models will now simply be called PHEV. This will improve clarification and will allow the RAV4 to sell even better. You know how they say the simple ways are the best. In addition to this, the plug-in hybrid will also go through a major change when it comes down to the power output. The PHEV will, as previously mentioned, utilize the 2.5-liter engine, which now produces a higher output, and so will the electric drivetrain. When combined, these two will make around 340 HP, making it the most powerful variation of the RAV4, albeit it won't be as peppy as the 1.6 turbocharged 3-cylinder due to a much greater weight and the fact that the main powertrain will still be a naturally aspirated lump. The MPG figures will also be improved compared to the previous generation, thanks to the more aerodynamic design, which will result with the car now having around 100 MPGs, which is fantastic. Pricing and trim levels. But all good things come with a price, and the price of the new RAV4 is, well, the price. For starters, the entry-level LE trim will now be a fair bit pricier than the current generation, and it is expected to start at around $31,000. This is expected as the Toyota Corolla Cross now practically takes up the same place as the current Gen RAV4, which is why it's logical that the upcoming generation will be a bit more upmarket, both in terms of quality and subsequently the price. Also, the trim levels will be reduced too, as we won't be getting 7 different trim levels anymore. Instead, we'll now be getting only 4 regular trims: the LE, XLE, XLE Premium, and Limited, with the TRD Off-Road being reserved for a later model year. All of these will be available as hybrids and non-hybrids. Now, as much as we like all the updates we'll be getting with the new RAV4, we think that the entry-level model simply isn't worth it. We'd much rather you opt for a well-spec'd Corolla Cross instead of a poverty-spec RAV4. The XLE will be a bit better. However, we'd still argue against it, as apart from leatherette seats and a little bit better interior, you will still miss out on the bigger instrument cluster and infotainment screen, which is not good news for a $33,000 price tag. The XLE Premium will get better seats, better wheel design, as well as the aforementioned 12.3-inch gauge cluster and infotainment screen. Other than that, you won't be getting much more, which is still okay, as the XLE Premium will cost some $35,000. Finally, the Limited, which will cost around $38,000, will be a pretty nice experience, especially since you'll be getting a borderline luxurious interior that will be very stylish too. However, for the money, you'll be coming perilously close to the Mazda CX-70, which has a better engine, will be more comfortable, and while the interior of the entry-level model won't be more luxurious than the RAV4 Limited, it will be on the same level. As for the performance-oriented model, you can expect the pricing to start at around $42,000, which is quite a lot of money. But you will be getting quite a lot of cars for the money. As for the plug-in hybrid, the SE will start at around $47,000, whereas the XSE will set you back around $50,000. Both of these, in our opinion, aren't worth the money, as even though they will be frugal and powerful, you'll be far better off with a regular hybrid, both long-term and short-term.